Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Dangerous Misinformation. Tune in this week as we talk about pressing topics such as dating high-status women, the famous podcast mic that's $400 that you probably don't need, and Russell Wilson being a G, and much more fun for the entire family. Aye, okay. Hello, greetings, everybody. Welcome to Dangerous Misinformation, the number one source for dangerous misinformation, your one-stop shop for all things hateful. I'm your host. My name is Rodney Smith. You can find me on all social medias at Lord Petty and some underscores. Okay, and I will put that link in the description, where you can find other fun things like my book, The Petty Principles, but you already know all that if you've been here before. If this is your first time tuning in, if your beloved friend told you, hey, you should check out this podcast, welcome. I open you with welcome, pasty, Deutsch arms, and shout out to your friend for being somebody ahead of the curve, being early to something finally in their life, and putting you on. That is a homie. Anyways, please leave a rating. Please subscribe. We're coming to you every day with 15 to 20 minutes of dangerous misinformation to tickle your little belly with it. And yes, welcome. Let's get into it. A couple days ago, I was talking about the Call Her Daddy chick who was making controversy because she said that she only wants to be with a rich guy, right? And so I commented on a video, I don't remember which episode this was, but I commented on a video stating that she has the right to want to date a rich guy because she's rich. Everybody goes, oh, men don't care about money. Men don't. Yes, I'm a man. You don't need to explain to me what men want. I get it. I am super straight. I am the only person in this world that is straighter than Donald Trump, okay? And I've literally never, not once in my entire life, thought about jerking off another guy. I've talked about it at length multiple times. What I would do, that I would grab this shaft and I would stroke it, but I've never actually thought about doing it because anytime I've ever talked about it, it has been a joke for comedic effects, okay? So you don't need to explain to me, a super straight male, what men like. I get it. Are we clipping? Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Sounded like we were clipping. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, anyways. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, jerking off. So I said that she has every right to protect her little hermit kingdom, okay? And then everybody's like, oh, men don't care about that. I get that. Yes, 1,000%. But I was saying she has the right to protect what's hers because people are going to want to infiltrate. If you have something, people are going to want a part of it. And if you build something, you got to be a little bit protective over what you got. Okay? And here's my example. Taylor Swift, the most famous person on the planet, the female MJ with a cooter, MJ with no ass and a big cooter, okay? T Swift. Shout out all the Swifties. She started dating this football player who I guess is a really good football player. I don't know shit about it. I don't give a fuck. I got better shit to do than watch people chase a ball around. But hey, shout outs to you if you enjoy that. I knew who Taylor Swift was before this guy, so God knows how many women are finding out about this dude, okay? And he's a good looking guy. So his dating pool, just by dating Taylor Swift, do you know how many women are going to want to fuck this guy if him and Taylor don't work out, just for the fact it brings them one step closer to Taylor? So when all these dudes are saying, oh, status doesn't matter to men. Yes, it doesn't matter to men. But if you date a very high status woman, it automatically raises your status. Now, do you want to date a completely disagreeable ass professional chick? Probably not. I don't. I'd rather date a chick that works at McDonald's that lets me make my own path in the world without throwing me a bunch of curveballs than some fucking controlling ass lawyer or something like that, okay? Now, if she's a cool lawyer, I'm down with that, but I don't think I would want her because I want somebody to help raise my kids and stuff because I'm highly ambitious myself, even though I haven't made it, but you get the point. These things don't need to be explained to me and you, okay? But my example still not even my example, my point stands true that the call her daddy chick gets to pick out what guy she dates. Because if I were to date the call her daddy chick, right? I forget her name. It doesn't matter what the fuck her name is. But if I were to date her, my podcast would get way bigger automatically. Way more girls would want to bang me, and way more people would want to do business with me automatically. And here is my proof. Okay? So since Taylor Swift showed up to Sunday's Chiefs Bears game, all right, there's been a 400% spike in Travis Kelce jersey sales. Kelce's podcast ranks #1 on Apple. His ads, Kelce ads, he added 383,000 Instagram followers. Okay. 24.3 viewers watched. It was the #1 NFL game this week because all the Swifties tuned in. 63% jump in female viewers, 18 to 49. I think Taylor Swift is the most powerful person in the world, straight up. A 3-time increase in Chiefs searches on the web, a 3-time increase in Chiefs sales on StubHub. So now all the Swifties are going to want to go to the game just to get a glimpse of Taylor Swift, okay? And the Chiefs sold more tickets in a single day since the start of the season because Taylor Swift was there. So how are you going to tell me with the straight face that sleeping with a really high status woman doesn't have benefits for the guy? Okay? Do we go out and seek it? No. But again, there's a middle ground here. If you notice a common theme about this podcast, I'm always talking about the middle ground. And the middle ground here to me is that as men, we don't care about it, but you got to be cognizant of when a high status woman wants a high status guy because she knows that's going to happen. It's the same thing if you're a dude, you got to watch out for gold diggers, but most guys are so fucking desperate, they don't. You know, you be a successful guy, next thing you know, you're just with some fucking bitch just draining your bank account, using you. And that happens all too often. But yeah, shout out to T Swift. Keep that pussy on lock, dude. Keep that pussy on lock. And if I owned any sort of business, right? If I owned a basketball team, I'd be telling my players, and we were struggling to get people in the seats, right? I'd be saying, like, if I owned a WNBA team, right? If I owned the Seattle Storm, I would be getting one of these bitches to go turn out Taylor Swift. I'd be like, hey, you need to somehow turn Taylor Swift into a butch lesbian so we can fill up all these seats with screaming fans. That would be my marketing strategy because I'm fucking smart. Anyways, all you podcasters out there, okay? You don't need a SMB7 or SM7B. You know the big fucking shafty microphone, the one that Joe Rogan and all these other people use, right? You don't need that microphone. 90% of you don't even know how to use it. You don't realize the high impedance level on it and that you need more gain to get it cracking. And you don't even know. It doesn't matter. You see this mic I'm on? This is a $100 mic. And listen to how good I sound. I sound better than 99% of the other podcasts out there with the $400 mic. And why is that? A little bit of EQ, and I know that the coil is exactly the same. So most of you, you're just trying to polish turds. A lot of content out here, it's so easy to edit video. It's so easy to buy an expensive microphone. It's so easy to, all this post-production stuff, right? We're just constantly shining turds. That's everybody's objective, is to just shine turds. As people go, oh, I need a microphone. I bet you, okay, I almost kind of want to do an experiment because people are such fucking dorks. I almost want to do an experiment where I go out and buy that microphone because even though I don't need it and this mic sounds just as good, I'm going to buy one just for the visual effects. People are like, oh, he has that microphone. It must be a serious podcast. You don't need the SM7B, dude. This microphone, it has literally the same coil. And if you EQ it a little bit and compress it and slap a limiter on there and roll off the bottom end, it'll sound just like the SM7B. But keep giving people your money and do it for the visual effect because people will see you have the microphone, then they'll think you're serious. Which I know everybody has a podcast, so for me to be doing a podcast is kind of hypocritical to be shitting on it because everybody has the right to create something, right? I fucks with creating stuff. I actually wish I had more friends that had podcasts because I would like to listen to them because I love listening to my friends' music and shit like that. But the reason I don't have a co-host, okay? The reason I don't have a co-host, and it's just me, is because I don't want to be on somebody else's schedule. And how many fucking podcasts are there going to be where it's just recording somebody having a conversation? At least with this show, I write show notes and I have some sort of a format. I don't have a complete format because I don't want to do that because I won't be able to stick to it because I just want to. This is like a based freestyle, okay? This is just off the top of my dome, most of it. But I have these notes. I don't know what's going to come out at the very, very core of it. I mean, I do know what's going to be at the core of it, but I don't know what the fuck it's going to turn into, and there's a beauty to that. But a lot of people, they just turn on a camera, and it's just two people having a conversation, right? Like two comedians sitting down having a conversation. Like, who the fuck cares, bro? Who the fuck cares? And especially when people start getting like 3 or 4 people, then it's just like, all right, it's too much. It's too much. There needs to be more solo podcasts. More of you podcasters just need to do your own thing. If you're like, oh, I don't have anybody to start a podcast with, just do it by your fucking self, bro. It'll take a little more effort. It'll take a little more practice. It'll probably take a lot more talent. It'll take a lot more work, but maybe it'll take less work because there is a possibility you could have started a podcast with some absolute fucking dumbass that's going to cause you to do a bunch of editing. I don't have to do any editing because I'm a fucking G. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we were talking about sports and Taylor Swift, and I meant to get into this, okay? So I was watching the Bronco game at the gym, and then the announcer, I read on the subtitle, they say, the Broncos had their worst game since 1994. Well, I don't understand these fucking sports stats because they'll talk about that. They go, oh, the Broncos haven't had this bad of a game since 1994. It's a completely different team. It's different management, it's different coach, it's different players, different fans probably. So there's no correlation except at some point they had the same dumb horse head on their pajamas that they all wear while they're chasing the fucking ball around. You always hear these stats like, oh, Green Bay, this is their first time in the playoffs since 2004. And I just completely made that stat up, so I don't know if that's a thing, right? And it's like, well, yeah, it's a completely different team. It doesn't matter. There's no actual correlation if you think about it. Like, we got to think about what things actually are and what our perceptions are of them. You know what I mean? This is where the stoicism comes to life. And with sports is just such a fucking circle jerk. I wish I were into sports because I could sit there and just talk out of my ass for hours about it. Be like, you know, the team that scores more points is going to win. I don't know, dude. I'm glad I'm checked out of sports. I was very fortunate, though, because I'm privileged and white. And I got to go to a Super Bowl, okay? I got to go to a Super Bowl because I'm privileged. And that's when I realized, when I saw the confettis falling down from the skies after, it was a Seahawks Super Bowl in New York, right? It was just me and my pops watching the confetti come down. Ironically, it was against the Broncos, kicked the shit out of the Broncos, Peyton Manning. And yeah, this one I realized it's never going to be this good again. So what the fuck am I doing? It's like if you do heroin, just do it once. It'll never be that good again. So when you go and watch your team, right? And at the time I was working this shitty retail sales job. And I remember the morning that I left, somebody threw a brick through the window and I was a prime suspect. So they're like, you're allegedly on vacation. And the first day you're on vacation, somebody breaks in and steals a bunch of cell phones. But as Shaggy said, it was not moi. So anyways, we go to the Super Bowl. The confetti's falling from the sky. We just kicked the shit out of the Broncos. We're a couple $1,000s in the hole now. And now what? Nothing. Pointless. Watch some other people. They get to have the trophy. These guys get to go out and have all the bitches afterwards. I go back to a hotel and I sleep next to my father who's got fucking gas. He was ripping ass all night. But I remember I had these fake Timberlands. I bought some like FUBU Timberlands because I was going to be in New York. That's how white I am. I wanted to have Timbs in New York, so I bought some FUBU Timbs. And it was snowing, and I was so hammered. I went back down to the hotel lobby, and I went to some other bar just by myself. Of course, my father was all worried, even though I was like 25 at the time or something. And the fucking sole, so like the sole of the boot was coming off from the part that my foot was in. It was just like flapping around. So I'm staying at this super nice hotel and I'm walking around the hotel lobby and I remember being like, God, I'm so hammered I can barely walk. But in reality, it's because the sole was separating from my FUBU Timberland that I was stomping through New York with. was a fun trip, but I'm just not really a fan of New York. And I don't know if it's just because I went there for the Super Bowl. While it was like, yes, I'm scratching my nuts right now if you're watching this. Yes. What was I talking about before I told you about my ball sack? Oh, yeah. I didn't really like New York that much. And I don't know if it's just because the influx of people that were there or what it was, but it was just city the whole time. It doesn't matter where you go. There's always going to be fucking restaurants and bars and, buildings. So New York to me is just a big fucking zoo. And I don't get why anybody would spend $6,000 to live in a shoebox just so they can go and grab a bagel at the train station or something like that. But that is the best cheeseburger. The best cheeseburger I've ever had was inside Grand Central Station. And I went back sober just to do a double check, dude. But yeah, that was back when we had Russell Wilson, and now the Broncos have Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson is hilarious because he's the most vanilla. I shouldn't even say that. I hate it when people use terms like Uncle Tom or like tell somebody they aren't the race that they are. It's pretty stupid to tell somebody they have to act a certain way because they are a certain race. So if Russell Wilson wants to be like a nice, kind black guy, like who the fuck cares? Isn't that a good thing? Isn't that a good thing that he's good to his kid and he's kind and you could put his face on TV that he can have the Tom Brady effect? You know what I mean? Isn't that good? Isn't that like a good uplifting thing for that community? Where he's like, oh no, fuck Russell Wilson. Russ is a good dude. He's a bitch for leaving Seattle, but I don't blame him. And now I think he's getting too old. He kind of sucks. He just used to make miracles happen, bro. When I was into the foosball, when I was into the devil ball, he would just make miracles happen. Straight up. Russ was a G. I still have his jersey. But imagine, he's married to Sierra, right? Sierra. This beat is swing it to the left, the penis. Remember we all thought Sierra was a man or that somebody started a rumor? How did rumors used to get around? Because we all thought Marilyn Manson was missing his fucking ribs and we all thought Sierra had a cock. And none of us had phones and nobody really talked to kids from other schools, right? Like our whole, they didn't talk about it on the news, obviously. You didn't see Anderson Cooper come on the news and start talking about Sierra's micro penis. No, they swing it to the left. On the Jazzy Fizzle Product Shizzle. You never heard about that, or you never heard 60 Minutes. You never heard that. Tonight, we talked to Marilyn Manson about his rib removal so he can suck his own dick. That never happened, so how did we even know about that, dude? Somebody just says something, then it spreads, which is the old going viral. Speaking of going viral, tell somebody about this podcast because that's what we need to do. We need to go viral because I'm out of money. Anyways, dude. Where are we at here? 17 minutes. Okay, we're going to wind her down. But the whole thing I wanted to say with that is if you're Russell Wilson, imagine co-parenting with fucking Future. Future Hendrix, the savior of the trap, the lean drinking wizard himself. Yeah. Imagine dating his baby mama, Fucking old serious ass Future. Fucking Pluto. He's got to be like, it's funny how they talk about Drake being too old to rap to 25-year-olds, but I'm pretty sure Future is like 40, dude. And fucking Pluto's out here still just talking about doing drugs that he doesn't actually do. But I love Future, dude. Future's a goat. But still, like I said, they're just talking into air. They're not doing anything substantial. These guys act like they're architects building skyscrapers. They're just rapping into air, dude. But it's okay. Anyways, let's wind her down. Thank you for tuning in. I'm out of breath. I'm ready to go eat some food. I actually I made some expired chicken last night because I was shitting myself right before I made this podcast. I was about to sit down to make this podcast, and then I felt the diarrhea creep through my intestines. So I went and sat on the toilet, and I shat it all out while I listened to this fucking idiot try to get his car going, who parked in a handicap spot right in front of my apartment, whose car alarm I've been listening to since 8 p.m. last night. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with it. I don't know if they're trying to steal it. I don't care. But if I got to listen to it tonight, I'm going to call a tow truck and have them towed out of the handicap spot so they can go figure it out somewhere else. Anyways, Please rate and subscribe. Thank you for tuning into Dangerous Misinformation. I appreciate y'all more than I could ever let you know through this little only $100, not $400 microphone. That sounds better than the $400 microphone. Anyways, tell somebody about the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Much love. We out this bitch.